And now we move on to our second leading story. Ivorian police last week arrested Souleymane Kamarate Kone, a senior aide to Parliament Speaker Guillaume Soro, for the possession of military-grade weapons found in his home in May. According to Ivory Coast public prosecutor, soldiers discovered 6 tons of weapons and ammunition during the period of the mutiny in Bouake, where Mr Kone's house is located. He is accused of possessing and distributing weapons to renegade soldiers that destabilized the state during an army mutiny earlier this year.
Soul to Soul est en effet dans le viseur.
Soul to Soul is indeed the viewfind of the justice since the discovery on the night of 14th to 15th May of a cache of weapons in a villa belonging to him in Bouake. The second city of the country was the epicenter of the mutiny carried out by ex-rebels. The investigations also revealed that people had been informed of the existence of these weapons in Kone's villa and invited to serve. Their provision was aimed at destabilizing the state, the prosecution said. In an open letter, Soul to Soul takes up the line of defense expressed by the relatives of Guillaume Soro since the discovery of the cache of weapons. This stock is part of weapons acquired during the post-election crisis and which were then distributed to several places.
And now over the phone with us from Abidjan to talk about this is Ivorian journalist Alafe Wakili from the Intelligence of Abidjan. Bonjour Alafe. What can we deduce from this arrest and the allegations against Kamarate Souleymane as it relates to President Ouattara especially?
The reader is a delusioned man, a worried man, who has a feeling of ingratitude. What he says is that yes, these weapons, I kept them for President Ouattara. In relation to the cause compared to the fight, we don't deny it. But the question is, the crisis has ended. President Gbagbo is gone. Why these weapons have not been returned? Why have they kept them? On what basis? Why those who had asked him to conceal the weapons did not take note of the peace that has returned? President Gbagbo was no longer there. The context was new. The threat that existed, what had led to hiding these weapons there? This context no longer existed. So there is a question of trust that is raised, which makes people see that these weapons should be used for other purposes.
In the wake of the developments surrounding this indictment, you have written an editorial on Soro. Could you tell us more about your piece on him?
Is it not too late for Guillaume Soro to cease to be perceived as a man linked to the rebellion? A man who is not able to clothe himself with the cloth of democracy, to go to the conquest of the people, to conquer the ballot boxes. There's always this image of man brought to the violence that follows him. While he had opportunities after Ouaga agreement, where Laurent Gbagbo knighted after the post-election crisis, when he became the man of Ouattara, and today he is a president of the National Assembly, and where he has good relations with Henry Konan Bedi. And now that this story happens, can he still get rid of this image? That's a problem, and we wondered if it is not too late of a burden that gets away with this image that sticks to the skin is wrong or right, and that his opponents exploit to the maximum.
This case, in other words, will weaken him, in your opinion?
Yes, it already weakens. It can weaken him further, just as it can participate in its legend if it happens. Not to be involved in this matter, and to mount that is worthy of its name. Bafori means the invisible and unbreakable, the man we cannot defeat. So he knows his truth sense, he knows his limits. And the context of 2017 is different from 2012. His course takes into account several parameters. Things have evolved today to him to make a good reading, while integrating that a politician is never finished. So I will not say that he is definitely weakened. Everything depends on him and his entourage also. As we said in our editorial, in the face of what is happening, we see that in the current agenda, he is not totally master of the game. Whereas he had the possibility of being an important pawn, he is no longer the master of his destiny.
Thank you very much for speaking with us. Alafe Wakili, Ivorian journalist from the intelligence of Abidjan. They are speaking with us from Abidjan, Ivory Coast.